Well, if you space it out, you'll get like that 2% extra discount, so it's not that bad later.
Yeah, I gotta buy just stupid shit, right? And I'm always such a penny pincher. Like I'm like, oh, I gotta get it. And then I gotta get that extra 2%. And I gotta make sure I can spend $50 so I get free shipping.
And I try not to be the panicky guy that's like, oh no, the DM variant's gonna disappear. It's gonna be nothing.
And the group doesn't help any.
Immediately the group will be like, it's out of stock, and everybody starts running in circles. And
the group doesn't fucking help any, man. It's like, oh man, War of the Kings is out of stock. It's never coming back. I was like, what?
The group will be like, it's always still just comes back every week. It's always still there.
Most of the time, I already had the books pre-ordered anyway through DCBS, but then every once in a while they'll catch me off guard. I'm like, what the fuck? Why did that book go out of print?
Yeah, they got me caught up with that Spider-Man Volume 3 DM variant, the Mobius one. Because Emily kept going to the group and was like, we got 20 more in stock. I'm like, oh, fuck, I got to get it. 20, I better get it now. And it's just sitting here. I'm like, I don't care anymore. Shit, they got me.
And it's not even the greatest cover, right? It's like Morbius like bitch slapping Spider-Man. Like, not even regular Spider-Man, like Spider-Man or six-armed Spider-Man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you're right, Matt. October's the same way.
I like to get the DM Kirby ones when they have those on some of the older ones.
Do you?
Yeah.
You know, I've never been a like DM kind of guy. I've always been the variant cover kind of guy. So it doesn't really affect me that much. Mainly because you get the original cover inside of the book all the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I did it a couple times though.
I always go for the original art variant. Like, I'll pass on the Alex Ross one if there's a Kirby one, or the normal.
Yeah, I did it. I mean, there were two instances that I did get the DM one, and that was Infinity Gauntlet because I just love Perez's cover. That's been one of my favorite covers. I don't like it as much as Gabe does, obviously.
No,
because of the tattoo. But yeah, it's one of my favorite iconic covers. That and the one from 4, Infinity Gauntlet 4, the Come and Get Me.
Oh, let me give you guys the link to the chat as well.
Okay.
I've been broadcasting for like 5 minutes. I didn't tell anybody.
No worries.
I like to keep it genuine. Like, oh, we're on there. Everybody puts on there like, oh, my on voice, my on face.
Oh, we've been on? How you fellas doing?
All right.
All right, so
let me get everybody started in here. I'm not going to type that. I can just say it on the show. Anyways, I'll give you guys the link to the YouTube video. You guys can hear everybody talking in the chat.
Where's the Omnibros?
Yeah, this is like a bootleg version of Omnibros.
Well,
Gabe's an Omnibro.
Yeah. Wait a minute, Gabe. Right?
I'm on the bench. I'm backup Omnibros. Sure.
This is like Alpha Flight, Beta Flight. Not even Beta Flight. This is like Zeta Flight, right? Like nobody read that book. Nobody wants to read about those assholes.
This is the Great Lakes Omnibros.
Oh shit, we went on the Great Lakes. Wow. You know what? I'll take it.
Yeah, but there's going to be some, we talked about it before, but there's probably going to be some changes on the Omnibros because Luis is taking a health required, sabbatical a little bit. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Later. But big shout out to Luis. Hopefully that guy's feeling better and he gets
for sure, man.
Yeah, much love to that guy. His whole family.
Much love.
Anyway, we're going to get this started for real. We've been chilling out live for like the last 5-6 minutes and nobody really knew about it. So anyways, everybody, welcome to the inaugural first 0.1.00 issue of the weekly release Omnibros episode. We're going to try and do this on Sundays just because I have the crazy idea that this Omnibros channel should be more than just a one show a week. And, get some more representations from all of our friends and YouTube brethren out there. give everybody a chance to have a voice as well, and give everybody more options throughout the week too for your YouTube awesomeness and fun stuff like that. Anyways, I am the overtaker of this channel. I am Gabe Infinity Watch. Welcome everybody. Thanks for everybody showing up and everybody watching later on, and of course all the crazy party people in the chat already. On this crazy awesome adventure on my screen of the Google Hangouts, where everybody's in little cubes and a bunch of episodes. I got my fellow West Coast brother. We got Matt Miranda from HR representing us today. Say what up, Matt.
What's up? How's it going, guys?
Yo, brother. Doing good, doing good. And then also, because we can't have an Omnibros show without a couple brown people on, I got my other Hispanic brother who's not from the West Coast, I found out, from the awesome, great show of Near Mint Condition here on YouTube as well. We got the homie Omar as well hanging out with us, man. Say what up, dude.
What's going on, guys? I knew there was a catch. I knew you had to meet that quota, man. That's why I was invited.
I'm all about the affirmative action, and that's why we have Matt in here today.
Oh, okay.
For HR. Yeah, normally also, you know, on most weekends when we do this, we're also going to have our legal assistant slash, what else is he?
Intern,
unpaid intern slash legal assistant, Nick Munoz. But he had to go do stupid stuff like take classes and be an adult and be responsible.
Yeah, way to better his life.
What kind of nonsense is that?
No idea.
No. Quit school. Use that tuition money to buy more Omnibus.
Yep.
Yeah, they're going to be worth millions 10 years from now.
And speaking of, you might have to use your tuition or take out a loan to get all the books coming out this week. And that's what we're pretty much going to be here to talk about, is the crazy amounts of omnibus and hardcovers coming out from Marvel and DC and others this week. So for those of you in the chat, or those of you watching, I do have the links to this week's releases in the description. So please go ahead and feel free to pull that up so you guys can follow along with us as well. And give us your input on what you think is coming out, what you're going to get, how you're going to afford it. Are you going to do something stupid like a budget?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you just going to just use those credit cards and pay it off throughout the rest of the year?
PayPal credit.
That's right, man. Or I always like to do the pay after delivery option.
Yeah. I open up a second checking account to keep it hidden from my wife.
Hey, man, whatever works.
She's like, where do all these books come from? I was like, see what happened was, and then she doesn't want to hear it. So,
John Hahn protocol. Say they were gifts from somebody else.
Yeah, it only works for so long.
Oh man, yeah. Somebody else bought it for me excuse that Jess likes to use every so often.
Jess does get a lot of love though, so
yeah,
I'm sure his wife is used to it.
Speaking of love and his wife, today is actually their 28th anniversary. So big shout out to them and happy anniversary to the OmniDog and the OmniDog's wife. I don't know what to call her, but yeah.
That's probably playing it safe. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, how do I call her a dog?
Yeah.
What's up? You know, like, how's that going to work? Well, anyways, let's go and get this all started. You want to do the typical "what you get this week" kind of stuff, or anything like that?
Sure. I can go unless you guys want to.
No, go for it. You're
okay.
For
so definitely on my list, man. I have. Oh, geez, it's gonna break me. So I've got definitely gonna pick up the Amazing Spider-Man Worldwide Volume 2, the hardcover, the Hulk Planet Omnibus, because I already own Hulk in hardcover and the trade paperbacks, so why not? And the Harley Quinn Omnibus that's coming out, and I don't know which cover to go with yet. For that one,
is there multiple covers for Harley Quinn?
Yeah, there's 2 covers, I think. Oh no, I'm sorry, no, there's not. Oh my God, they're also really okay. Then I guess I'll also get the Harley Quinn Deluxe edition. I thought I was looking at two variants. So apparently they're releasing the Connor Palmiotti Omnibus, and they're also releasing the Kessel and Dotson Deluxe hardcover. Oh man! And then there was an Image book, I think. Maybe Wicked Divide Volume 2 was coming out next week. The hardcover. Yeah, the Wicked Divine Book 2. That's coming out. Definitely getting those. Those are that should be it for me, I hope. And I'm not gonna buy both covers for these Marvel omnibuses. I'm just gonna get, one.
Do you sometimes get both covers?
Only when my brother wants a book, and then when they both arrive, I get the better looking cover. No, I'm not one of these people that gets both covers. I don't have that much money, and I don't expect to really sell them, Although I should. Apparently, these DM covers sometimes go out quick, like, Spider-Man Volume 3. Didn't expect that to go sell out. Because like I mentioned earlier before, it's got this not-so-great Morbius cover, bitch-slapping Spider-Man, so I don't get it, but whatever. It looks like Planet Hulk only has one cover, but the Punisher Back to War... Now, Back to the War, that's the one that collects all the Punisher stories before his ongoing series. Is that correct? Do you know much about that?
Let me see. Because I got the previews link up here that shows everything.
Yeah.
Actually, let me do this. This would be cool. I'm going to share my screen and hide the camera up real fast.
And I'm kind of on the fence on the Darth Vader omnibus. Mainly because it's just two of the oversized hardcovers, but I did buy the Hawkeye omnibus, so.
All right. Let's see. Can you guys see this cool? Does it show everything?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Mm-hmm. So here's the Punisher Back to War omnibus. This is the DM cover, which is really cool because it's that classic Mike Zeck cover.
I love that Mike Zeck cover.
I love all the covers for that first miniseries.
Now that Mike Zeck cover looks like it's been recolored. It looks like those 90s Marvel Flair cards when we were first introduced to CG colors. You remember that?
Yeah, the airbrushing color.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Back then, man, those things blew my mind.
I'm gonna go out and get more of them. Let me find them on eBay. I love doing that. I love just buying packs, like unopened boxes of cards, and just pretending like I'm 12 again.
Honestly, the only thing I would be interesting to get in this is just the Punisher miniseries 1 through 5. Everything else looks like a lot of Amazing Spider-Man issues. And
might already
that's
be
a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of Amazing Spider-Man, which is stuff that's probably going to get printed in an omnibus pretty soon anyways.
Right, or an Epic collection.
Yeah.
One thing I would want out of this is that Punisher 1 through 5. That's it. That's crazy that this is an omnibus. Whatever. Cashing in on the show. Good old Marvel.
Yeah, because Volume 3 the Amazing Spider-Man Volume 3 omnibus stops at 104. So 129 will probably be in the next Amazing Spider-Man omnibus.
Yep.
So it's Amazing Spider-Man 129, first appearance of Punisher, which, I mean, if you can't afford to spend like $800 on a copy of that single issue right now, then I can see you want to get it through here. Giant Size Spider-Man number 4, Marvel Previews 2. It was all early appearances of Frank Castle.
And those Daredevils, I mean, they're pretty solid stories. 182 to 184. But still,
the only actual Punisher books in here is 1 through 5. There's 6 issues of Punisher in here, or 5 issues because I can't count. But yeah,
that's a pass for me. It's just too much Spider-Man, not enough Punisher. Did any of you guys pick up the new Teen Titans that was just released last week? The new printing?
I ordered it, haven't, but I did get it.
Oh, okay. I've got the original printing.
I was on the
fence. Yeah.
Yeah, I was on the fence. I didn't pick it up, but it looked really it was cheap. I almost ordered it, but I didn't.
almost wish they had collected more issues, mainly because that is such a huge run. You know, I mean, the price point and 24 issues isn't that bad. And what is it, like 600 and something pages, 664 maybe? But it's just such a huge epic run that I wish they had collected at least 30 to 35 issues. I know, call me crazy, right? Like, but if they want to pad out and I guess sell them in 20, 24 issues each, that's going to be a lot of omnibus you're going to buy, especially if they keep on going with the George Perez stuff.
How long was the run?
Oh man, it was huge. It was, what was it, 68 issues? A lot of omnibus you're going to buy. And then there was 150 issues after that of the New Teen Titans. So it's huge. It's a big run.
It's a great run. Volume 2 should have that Judas contract, which is just like one of the like better, top-notch, most like iconic Teen Titans stories.
Yeah, I would say out of any of the Teen Titans run, that's the one that most people probably know. Mainly because they made an animated series of it, and every incarnation of Teen Titans cartoons have had some kind of Judas contract kind of story in it.
Right, and then that's the first appearance of Nightwing. So now that Nightwing got cast in the Titans show, so it all kind of comes around.
I think it's getting a deluxe. It's getting a deluxe hardcover treatment, isn't it? Or it did. The Judas contract.
Yes.
Yeah.
There were some rumors on the board that it's not going to be in the second omnibus, but I don't see that happening since it was in the first omnibus already, or the first printing of the second volume.
So are we legit now that we got an original Omnibro with us?
We got.
Are we no longer the bootleg Omnibro?
My wife stepped out to go get lunch with a friend, and I figured, hey, if they're doing it and I'm free, I should stop by.
Totally.
Yeah.
This is like a guest appearance by an original X-Men. You remember, you ever read those issues, you get excited, you're like, oh shit, it's Wolverine. I guess this title's legit.
It's like when
what's going on, man?
New 52 and Rob Liefeld was doing Hawk and Dove, and he just threw Batman in there so people would buy it.
Wow, what an obscure title. New 52 Hawk and Dove.
Yeah.
Don't lie, you bought them.
I did buy them because it was Rob Liefeld.
Yeah, I did too.
That's one I skipped out on, to be honest.
Come on, Riley, you loved it.
Whoa, what happened to all that recursion right there?
That was an infinite loop of Riley.
That was
You broke the internet.
What have you guys covered already? I saw Punisher.
Omar's picks. I don't know if Omar's even done, but we were just doing Omar's picks.
Okay.
I'm done, brother. I'm done. Next.
Hey, Riley, since you're here, man, what are you picking up this week out of this crazy book, bud?
Oh, man. Okay, so I had to pass on a couple things that in a less busy month, otherwise I would have already gotten. And this month I've already made one order from like last week's stuff, like that new Teen Titans y'all were touching up on. So next week, the three Omnis I had to unfortunately leave behind. We're going to be that Punisher Back to War Omnibus, the Harley Quinn Omnibus, and the Marvel UK Star Wars Omnibus. I feel okay about that decision for those three books. The Marvel UK Star Wars stuff, a good almost half, I think, is in the third Star Wars Omnibus. So I'm not too upset of that. Punisher, I'm not terribly concerned with the stuff leading up to his first miniseries. And then the Harley Quinn one, I read the first 8 issues of that series and wasn't terribly impressed. And I was thinking about grabbing the Omnibus just to try it out, but maybe during the holidays, I'll be able to grab it to see if I like it. But it's a big investment for just to try something out. As far as things that I'm actually getting, I've got the Planet Hulk Omnibus, the Punisher Garth Ennis Omnibus, and the Darth Vader Omnibus. I already sold my my oversized hardcovers for Darth Vader to a coworker, so she could give it to her brother for Christmas. So felt good about that. And then a few oversized hardcovers, Amazing Spider-Man Worldwide Volume 2. I believe that bridges the gap between Volume 1 and Clone Conspiracy. Batman Year One Deluxe Edition, which I think has everything that the Absolute had, but just in deluxe size and for half the price. And the Wicked and Divine second hardcover, which got delayed a couple months. And then I've also got the All-Star Batman Volume 2, End of the Earth, standard-sized hardcover. Boruto, the sequel series for Naruto Volume 2. And One Punch Man Volume 12. That's my list for this week.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that sits around and says, yeah, you know, I'll try out that series. I'll just get the Omnibus. Like, it would be so much cheaper just to get, like, a trade paperback or pick up a couple of issues. But I'm like, no, I'll just, you know, it's $100 or half off. I'll just pick up the Omnibus and see what it's like. I did that with the Journey into the Mystery, the Kieran Gillen series with Loki.
Yeah.
Hadn't picked up a single issue of that. And I did pick up Young Avengers, so I knew what to expect. So I'm enjoying it so far. Third of the way through. It's pretty good.
Nice. Yeah, I don't often do that because usually I've read the material, at least some of it, at least enough to know that it's worth buying. But in this case, I was like, no, I didn't like that first chunk of issues, but so many people like it that there's got to be some merit to it. And I kind of want to try out, speaking of Harley Quinn, that is, I just want to try it out. And originally I planned on it, but just seeing, what is it, like 6 books, massive books come out in the same week, I was like, yeah, I have to let something get cut.
Yeah, that's why I think I did the same thing with Punisher. I'm not picking that one up and not picking up the Star Wars UK one because what you said, like a lot of the material was covered in Volume 3. So yeah, just picking up the Hulk and the.
You want to pick up the reprint, the Garth Ennis Punisher, or do you guys already have that one?
I've got that one.
Okay.
I'm getting the new print on that one. That's been one of my top whales for the longest time. And then as soon as they announced that reprint, I was like, all right, strike that off the list.
That's great. I was like that with the Teen Titans Omnibus because those got out of print pretty fast.
I actually had the original print of the Teen Titans Omnibus, and I read it and I enjoyed it, but it was so hard to like read because of finding that I was like, fuck this, and I sold it to someone like for $80 or something.
Those one of those Bear Trap books, man. Yeah. I've had it for years, and it still has. I must have read that book 3 different times, and it still hasn't opened up. It was pretty bad. Those early DC books were like that, though. They're pretty crappy.
Hawkman's the same way, but I've hung on to that. I think also the thing, I bought that new Teen Titans, and then I found out after I read it that the 3rd volume had skipped like a chunk of issues, and that pissed me off even more. So I was like,
not just issues, years. It was shitty.
Yeah.
Like whoever was in their collection department just needed to get whacked, man. It was so bad. And not even include the rest of the Lonely Place of Dying crossover either. They didn't include the Batman issues. Like, so you just get like parts 2 and 4 where you're like, oh, okay, well, I guess something happened in Batman.
And it was just because, I'm guessing, because it wasn't all Wolfman and Perez, right? Like, it had other artists or something?
Yeah, it did, but then they also included issues that had other artists anyway, so it was all over the place and it made no sense, and I'm glad they're redoing it so people get to enjoy those stories, like, hopefully the way they were supposed to be. Because I have faith in the new DC Collections department for the most part. Like, a lot of the trade paperbacks that have been coming out from the 90s, like Robin and Nightwing and Catwoman, you know, they've been all pretty straight so far.
Yeah, but those are just trades. Those I would love for those books to be hardcovers, like Catwoman and Robin.
Oh man, me too, dude. I love that. That Chuck Dixon Nightwing is still one of my favorite runs. Yeah, I love that stuff.
Grand art.
Yeah, and then I say I have a lot of faith in the DC department, but then I forgot they left out sort of Azrael from the fucking Batman Nightfall Omnibus. Oh, what was up with that? Like the introduction of your character that is going to replace Batman. Nah, we'll just skip it. We don't need it.
That was annoying.
They could have fit it in there.
Yeah. What about you guys? Are you picking up anything, Matt? Gabe?
I was talking to you guys earlier. I'm actually trying to avoid getting anything this month. I got October's really going to kill me, so I'm trying to not pick up anything. The only thing that I really thought about maybe getting somewhere down the road would be the Planet Hulk Omnibus, but I can hold off on that for a little bit.
Are you going to Hulk next month?
I might. I didn't like it as much as Planet Hulk.
I never read World War Hulk because I couldn't find any of the issues whenever it's coming out. It was one of those things where like the first 3 issues came out, and then it took like 4 months for like the last issues to come out or something like that. And I just kind of fell off the track.
I think the one thing I remember most about World War Hulk, and it was, for the most part, it wasn't as good as Planet Hulk. I agree with Matt, but there was a flashback where Hulk throws a statue made out of adamantium, and in my mind, I'm like, how the hell did Weapon X let that slide by? How does Weapon X not know there's that much adamantium in a statue? Like, that was the only thing that I remember about that storyline.
I remember it giving us Incredible Hercules, so that was a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt bad missing World War Hulk because I started reading the Red Hulk series, and that's kind of like where the origin of all that started from. I never got to read that or experience that happening with the laser or whatever from the satellite.
Yeah, Red Hulk.
They created Red
good artwork.
That's McGinnis, man. That was good stuff.
Yeah. The story was okay.
Oh, like the reveal was pretty terrible because everybody seemed to have found out that they thought it was going to be Tolbert, and then the upload kind of went back and went, oh, everybody figured it out, so let me change it and make it Thunderbolt Ross.
I remember Bendis doing the same thing with Ronin. Like, everybody was like, oh, it's Daredevil. We got it. We know. No.
He's like Psycho the whole time, even though it looks like a man, his huge body. And
even though she can read Iron Man's lips, right? What? Get the fuck out of here, Bendis.
Oh, man. All right, so let's see. What am I going to pick up this week? Let me screen share, because I think that's fun. And we'll see what I'm going to pick up. Because I'm going to get a lot, but I'm going to try my best also to maybe spread it out, because I don't need absolutely everything this week that's coming up. I do need it at one point.
Yes, you do, Gabe, because it will go out of print. It will go out of print.
Don't say that. You gotta get me.
And the Facebook group will remind you that it's going out of print.
That's going to hit my self-esteem. I need to get everything now. All right, so let's see. Dark Horse, I don't care. I don't care about Black Beetle or any of that nonsense. DC, I'm thinking about that year one. Now that Riley mentioned that, it's basically everything from the Absolute, but not all shitty and $120 for for 4 issues. But I think I'm gonna pull a Riley, and I'm gonna pull the trigger on the Harley Quinn. Even though I've never read the 52 Harley Quinn, I do want that book. I do want to check that out. So I think I'll pull the trigger and blind buy that and see how that is. I definitely want the Dotson Harley Quinn, because I think that stuff is amazing. I had that whole series in singles, and I sold it when I sold my entire collection. So I kind of want to get that back. And Carl Kessel was the writer of that, which is kind of cool. He's usually known as being like an inker for Fantastic Four. So it's kind of cool to see him getting some work as a writer, of all things, on Harley Quinn. This is back when Harley Quinn, nobody cared about Harley Quinn.
Oh, yeah. I think I still have those trade paperback, or the original trade paperback of that.
It's 8 issues, 1 through 8 for $30. I don't know about that now. It's not a lot for $30.
You're cashing in, man. Might as well milk that cow.
That feels like something I'd wait for it to get cheaper.
Yeah.
Later.
Yeah. Well, it depends on what kind of a discount they got. If they got like a good discount, half off, that's still like $2 a book. But we'll see. That's a nice maybe on there. That's it for DC. IDW's got nothing I care about. Image, I don't care. Man, Wicked and Divine, I haven't read the first one. I've never read that series. I've been really interested in it. I love it.
I really enjoy it.
I love McKelvey's art. Marvel, I'll pick up Planet Hulk for sure. I have the trade paperback. I'll need to get rid of that. I'm going to just throw it up on the board or on eBay for cheap and just have somebody have it. I'll get the Punisher, the Garth Ennis Punisher Omnibus, because that's another one of those like whales I was after, but you know, I wasn't going to spend the $300 it was going for at one time. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of Garth Ennis's Punisher, I do like, you know, these first few issues and stuff like that. I think it's issue 3, the Daredevil issue, where Punisher has Daredevil tied up on the rooftop, and he's like, and Punisher's forcing Daredevil to either shoot and kill Punisher, or allowing Punisher to shoot and kill like a mob boss down on the streets. And I think they did that in season 2 of the Netflix series. So that's like one of my favorite big single issues of all time. So I'm gonna pick that up.
I think Welcome Back, Frank is one of the stories that I came back to when I came back to reading comic books. So it has a really special place in my heart. I really like the quote-unquote team up with Spider-Man, where he just basically uses Spider-Man as a shield. And Spider-Man's just getting the shit knocked out of him. Then Spider-Man wakes up and he's like, what happened? And Punisher's like, oh man, we had a team up. It was great.
This Punisher on the bus too, what's great is, yeah, it has the Welcome Back Frank, and then it has that second series as well. It has Punisher Kills the Marvel Universe, which is a great one-shot. And then it has material from the Marvel Knights double shot.
Is that the one told?
Really cool
Yeah, is that the one by Joe Quesada? The one told at the dentist office?
Told through the inside of someone's mouth.
Yeah.
All you see is just tongue, and it's just Punisher ripping out the guy's teeth, one trying to get information out of him.
Yeah, that one's awesome, dude.
Yeah, that's worth it alone just to have those issues in there. Like I said, I lost interest towards the end of the series. Why am I clicking around? Because that's after he cuts the head off of the Russian, and they reattach it to a
yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of good moments in that.
And I was like, I don't know. Okay, I get it. Sure, you attach it to a woman's body, and now the Russian's got big boobs. That's pretty funny. But then later, the Russian starts wearing a shirt that says Britney Spears on it, and I was like, I can't give it this anymore. I don't understand what's going on.
Did you ever read his Nick Fury little miniseries, or it was a Max series?
That's a great series with Derek Robertson on the art.
Reminded me a little bit of Punisher, like Bourne and things like that. But I thought it was good.
Now, Punisher Bourne's another great one. I wish they would reprint that or put that in like some kind of series.
Yeah, maybe they'll do a second Garth Ennis Omnibus, collecting some of the Max stuff. That would be cool.
They need to do that. That's the stuff that I really want to check out, is the Max stuff. What else? We got the Vader Omnibus. I don't give a shit one bit about Star Wars, so I'm definitely gonna pass on that.
It's good, man.
Whatever. Sure. I'm sure it is, but I'm not gonna chance it.
But it will definitely open that door to the other Star Wars comics, and then you're like, well, shit. Now I gotta buy everything.
Now I'm in. Now I gotta go full deep with everything else. I'm half tempted to do this Death Note.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Crazy. It's like the entire thing in one. It's a trade paperback, so it's like a regular binding, but it's like special binding that actually can lay flat.
What do they call it? Like new futuristic binding technology?
Yeah.
Something just.
I love that of all people, Viz Media are the ones that found that future technology, right? Not Marvel, not DC, or even Image. Viz.
Yeah, leave it to them to be the one to say, you know what, let's do like a 2,400 page trade paperback, but let's put binding on it where it can actually lay flat. Well, I mean, for $40, dude, I've never read Death Note, but everybody keeps talking about how great it is and everything.
It was on sale for $24 on Amazon the other day. Like $23.99. And if you live in one of those wonderful states that doesn't have Amazon, they don't charge you tax.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good deal.
Well, I mean, yeah, for like $20, I might check that out.
The only thing that discouraged me from that is, so I've read the whole series. I started to upgrade to Black, and I have the first 3 Black books, but this new all-in-one is standard sized. It's not like the size of the black editions.
Oh, so it's the size of the original?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So that kind of detracted me. If it was bigger, which it would make sense for it to be larger, I would have been more tempted. But all the measurements I've seen online say that it's standard manga sized.
I hate when they do that, especially with things like Lone Wolf and Cub or
yeah.
Astro Boy. Like, I wish they had taken the chance to take that omnibus and make the dimensions bigger, like you said, because I would love to have Osamu Tezuka's art bigger than what it is. Like, those books are tiny, and just making them, 3 books in one, not really that great. Like, for me, enough for me to rebuy them.
Makes them a little easier to read when they're that thick, but they're a little bit bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me worry a little less about the binding. Like comparing, for instance, the Viz, the 3-in-1s that they're doing now to like the Viz Big books that they used to do.
Yeah.
The Viz Bigs are much more sturdy than those 3-in-1s.
Yeah, I agree. And well, the 3-in-1s are cheaper though, right? Aren't they like 19, $17.99 or something?
$15 each.
Yeah, I remember the Kodansha Battle Angel Alita last order ones. They were about $17, $19 for 3 books. But once again, they're not any taller. So that Death Note, the pictures that I saw, I thought they were bigger. So it reminded me of like those Darkness or Witchblade compendiums, or I guess Walking Dead or by Image. And I remember the original bindings on those things were horrible, like Rising Stars. I think I went through 2 copies of Rising Stars.
They just fall apart on you.
Yeah. Both copies fell apart. So somebody bought me a 3rd copy that I'm never touching. Like, it's so stupid. It's just sitting in my shelf.
I know the Death Note movie just came out on Netflix, and it's been getting horrible reviews.
My shelf.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I saw a funny review that was like, I wish my name was in the book after watching the series. So, I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Fun fact, though, Jess said that he was buying that Death Note, I think the all-in-one edition. So it'll be his first.
Is that his first taste?
Yeah, his first manga, period.
Oh, man. Welcome to the club, Jess.
Yeah,
There's a lot of weird shit out there.
I'm afraid of the hole he's digging into.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, he's going to be buying Bible Black and Night Shift Nurses.
So yes. I get that Akira box set too next month.
Oh, that's coming out next month? Fuck.
Yeah, that's a definite buy from. I've had that pre-ordered like since Amazon almost had it at 50% off. Yeah.
Yep. Me too.
Yeah, I have mine pre-ordered too.
I have bought incarnation of that book. I have the original Epic run. I bought the trade paperbacks, which I sold, which I really shouldn't have, and then I bought the Dark Horse run. I almost upgraded to the Kodansha run because they left a few translations that were a little bit different, and now I'm gonna get the hardcover edition.
I've never read Akira, so I'll get that box set, and that'll be my first time reading.
Yeah, it's solid, man. You've seen the movie, right? I assume.
I absolutely love the movie. Absolutely love it.
This goes past the movie and actually has the ending that he kind of wanted. That was a little bit different than the movie. It's good.
And in November is that Infinity War box set.
Are you crazy enough to get? Are you getting that really?
I'm 100% getting it. I was talking about that at the comic book store. Yeah. Especially if DCBS or In Stock Trades has it at half off. Yeah, I'm in. I'll get it.
I'm afraid if I commit to that and like sell all my paperbacks and sell like the Infinity Gauntlet Omnibus, that soon thereafter Marvel's going to announce like, oh, we're also going to do like Infinity War Omnis.
If they do, I'll buy them also. I'm good.
I always have this is so stupid, but because it has never happened in the history of Marvel, but I have a condition where I cannot sell my books until I hold the omnibus in my hand, right? Like I can't let go of my Planet Hulk hardcover until I get the Planet Hulk omnibus. It's so stupid. but I always have a fear that they might cancel it at the last minute. Or the warehouse will burn down, and we're like, oh man, we don't have any more Omnibus, no more Planet Hulk, we gotta cancel it.
That's more of a DC worry. DC seems to be the one that like.
Oh yeah, DC does it so much, especially with that Silver Age stuff. Like, I don't know the number of times I have pre-ordered some of those books. Like the what was it? The one just recently, Jack Kirby's yeah, Last Boy on Earth.
Yeah, that got moved around, I think, and there's a lot of controversy, not controversy, but just rumors, and people worry that the Fourth World is not going to have Miracle Man in it, but I'm pretty positive it will have Miracle Man in the Fourth World Omnibus.
I'm excited to get that one. I'll be honest, like, it took me. I was in my 30s when I started to appreciate Jack Kirby, like the things that he did, especially at DC. Mm-hmm. So a lot of that Fourth World stuff I have never read, never.
It's crazy stuff. I only started reading recently, getting into it like probably the last like 5 or 6 years. Mm-hmm. But it's fun stuff. I haven't read a lot because it's kind of hard to find the single issues. And then those last omnibus that came out, those 4 hardcover ones, were like impossible to find for like $100 a piece at one point.
What got me into them was, of all things, I read the 7 Soldier miniseries, the Grant Morrison stuff, and I'm like, oh man, I never gave these guys a shot, like Mr. Miracle and Big Bard. So I wanted to know more about that Fourth World stuff and New Gods and all that. So.
No, I got into it because I was a big fan of Darkseid from like the Superman cartoon, and then that's kind of how that connected the dots and led me into like the Fourth World stuff and like, other boxes and Orion and the whole Orion, Mr. Miracle, like switched that birth, like fucked up kind of thing they got going on.
Yeah.
Where what was it, Highfather and Darkseid traded sons as like a peace offering. So Darkseid's son is Orion, and he got raised by Highfather, and got free. Mr. Miracle is Highfather's son. He got raised by Darkseid. Well, not really raised by Darkseid. He got thrown into like a baby internment camp on Apocalypse. But just that whole kind of story idea was just kind of cool, and that kind of what got me into it. And then, of course, the new Miracle Man series that Tom King is doing was fantastic. That first issue was great. So.
Yeah, man, that thing was hard to find. I wasn't expecting so many people to be, like, trying to go after Mr. Miracle, like, #1. But it had sold out everywhere around me. Like, by the time I went in on Thursday, it was like, yeah, we didn't get enough of our... That was it. They didn't send them enough of the orders around here.
Yeah, it happened to the shop I work at. They got shorted, like 25 copies. So they had to allocate it so that other stores can get somewhat of their copies, I guess. So I got mine from a different store in town, and Jess asked if I could find him another one. I was like, yeah, dude, I can find you another one. I'm sure I can. And then that's when I realized they were gone. And every store I called would just laugh at me on the phone. I was like, hey, you guys got any Mr. Miracles left? And they would just laugh at me. I'm like,
that seemed to be the case. I think they probably met the demand of all the internet shops, instead of the little shops, all the physical mortar stores. So
yeah, if you're DCBS in stock trades or Mile High or what's the one in Manhattan?
Midtown.
Yeah, if you're not them, like your orders will get basically socialism over to them instead of to you. So they will take your copy.
I ended up ordering mine from Midtown, like release day. I just got on like at 10 o'clock and ordered the regular and the variant from them. So
I never got the variant. I can't find that anywhere. But I got 3 copies of the regular one because I got sent one out to Jess. I keep forgetting to get his address and send it out to him. But I got to do that for him too.
I didn't get a copy. I didn't try to get a copy. I'm not cool.
No. Well, I just knew that with his with Tom King's kind of like what happened with Vision. Vision was another one that nobody cared about and got sold out really quick. So I knew it was going to happen. I was going to get probably sold out pretty fast. But I should have pre-ordered it like an adult.
And it has such a fan following that it's it's gonna get like an original hardcover too, isn't it? The 12 issues
of Vision.
A Vision?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're re-releasing it in those director's cut.
Director's cuts. Yeah, I've seen that.
It's like 2-in-1 for 6 issues, and then they're gonna release the director's cut, that 6-issue 2-in-1 miniseries, as a hardcover, which unless the dimensions on the catalog lie, should be oversized. So that's gonna be really cool.
That's really cool. Like, it had that much of a fan following, and I guess his name is really kind of taken off ever since he took over Batman.
And I think it's on the back of every issue of the Vision director's cut. It says like something about this new presentation of Tom King's modern classic or whatever. So they're really capitalizing on the how highly it's been critically acclaimed and stuff, even though King's no longer at Marvel.
Yeah, it won the Eisner this year. It won the Eisner for best miniseries.
Man, good for him. Is he a DC exclusive?
I think he is at this point.
These exclusives. Yeah.
Dude, Marvel fucking missed their shot to keep him. That would have been great.
They missed their shots a lot. Like,
yeah, that's been one of the complaints about Marvel is they don't have any big name writers besides Jason Aaron.
they still got Aaron, but he's not writing as many books as he used to.
I think his Thor one might be over because I think the next storyline for Mighty Thor is the death of Mighty Thor. So that might be the end of his run.
So I'm sitting around and like I'm one of these people that's like, oh, I hope it's over soon so they can collect it in a perfect size omnibus, right?
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, well, now we got to hopefully.
Like I want him to keep writing, but I'm like, I'm so selfish. I'm like, but that would look so good in one omnibus if he only did 50 issues.
Because I think his God of Thunder stuff is out of print too, isn't it? Those hardcovers out of print or hard to find right now?
I think the second volume went out of print.
That one just came out recently. The one with the, well, spoilers, but Jane.
Not the one with Jane. The one with still with Odinson.
Oh yeah,
Because
yeah. Okay.
I don't know if it's out of print, but I know it's out of stock on like a lot of sites.
Is that the God Butcher one?
Yes, yeah, that's the first volume is God Butcher. The second volume is like it has the Malekith arc and a thing with who was that? He was like with Roxanne. It was an original guy that they introduced. I forget his name, but he comes back later in the Dario Agger. That was his name. But it just concludes the Odinson part before going into female Jane Foster.
And they have not collected the miniseries, right? Unworthy Thor in any hardcover. So what will happen is, like most of the time, I'll be fine with the oversized hardcover. So I'm like, oh, I'm good. But then they'll announce the omnibus, and the omnibus will include the 5-issue miniseries. And I'm like, oh shit, I gotta get that. It's got 5 extra issues I don't have.
Well, they could include the Secret Wars Thor's miniseries as well, because that has some elements that kind of carry over into that Unworthy Thor miniseries.
Yeah.
And the if we want to be completionists, which most of us really do, they could also use that original Sin miniseries that Al Ewing co-wrote with Jason Aaron. That was about like Thor and Loki and Angela.
Oh yeah.
None of that Secret Wars miniseries stuff has been collected in hardcover, has it?
Just a miniseries.
Yeah, besides the main storyline.
Which I wonder if they'll collect that in the next Avengers Jonathan Hickman omnibus.
Yeah.
Oh, the Secret Wars series? I'm almost positive it'll be in the omnibus.
I mean, it would be a good bookender, right, to the series.
Oh, to the series, to his run, to like the Marvel Universe and the Ultimate Universe, yeah.
And I have loved that was a really good run. I miss Hickman's superhero stuff. I guess I miss a good writer at Marvel. Maybe you're right, Gabe. I'm trying to think, because recently I've caught up with a lot of Marvel titles, and I can't think of anybody that kind of stands out.
Like Marvel's go-to writer right now is Charles Soule. It seems like that dude's writing like a handful of books.
Yeah, and some of his titles are hit or miss. Well, at least for me.
Well, they've got still Mark Waid.
Oh yeah, I don't hear enough talk about his Avengers. Like I liked his All New, but nobody taught. Like you would hear a lot of things about Jonathan Hickman's Avengers, but nobody raves on about Mark Waid's Avengers, or at least from what I've heard.
I think his All New, All Different didn't get a lot of attention just because of the fact that it did not have any of the, A-list characters in it. And Champions has gotten a little bit of attention, but now his adjectiveless Avengers series, even though it's been pretty fantastic, it's also not getting attention. Just I think because at this point Marvel doesn't have an audience, and no one was reading All New, All Different, and now they're not gonna carry over to the adjectiveless series. But the adjectiveless series is pretty fantastic, and it has amazing artwork by Mike Del Mundo as well.
Yeah, I like that guy. So it's good. I'm glad to hear that because I love Waid. Just about anything he touches has been awesome. And
he's doing Captain America again
with Chris Samney, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what's up.
So
man, those guys go together like peanut butter and chocolate.
Yeah, man, it's good. Their Black Widow series, though it was only 12 issues, was fantastic.
Well, their Daredevil run was like,
oh yeah, legendary.
It's a modern classic, pretty much.
I loved it. I thought it was different, but good. It was different than the other stuff that had come before, like a different kind of Daredevil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that was a whole it started out as being like a fun swashbuckling Daredevil.
See, man, and you're right, Riley. And I forgot that they had Mark Waid, but it's because that book hasn't gotten a lot of attention. I haven't been reading it. Mainly, I've been catching up on X titles, and I was trying to think which of the X titles I actually enjoyed. Guggenheim.
Guggenheim's okay, but I really like what Dennis Hopeless has been doing and what Cullen Bunn has been doing.
So that's X-Men Blue. What's
X-Men Gold, X-Men Blue,
and the Jean Grey. I think it's Hopeless is on Jean Grey.
Yeah, where she's going around trying to not get the Phoenix Force in her, right?
Yeah. She's basically speaking to all these people who've previously held the Phoenix Force and trying to find out how she can not have it and more about it. And it's been really good, a really good little look at the character. And Hopeless has said he's got plans on where he's taking her and stuff. So I look forward to seeing what he does with her.
Yeah, so I caught up on all that. And part of me wishes that she had kept that small little team she had in issue 2 of like Quentin and then I got excited when I saw Hope. Like I didn't give a shit about Hope when she was coming out during Messiah Complex. I was like, oh, it's stupid. And then I get excited because I haven't seen her in like a couple of years. I'm like, oh shit, it's Hope. Then
also, Hope's coming back. That's great.
Well, she's in the second issue.
Okay.
It was like a Phoenix team.
Yeah, which I thought was cool. And I was hoping that they would stick around, but that was the only issue they were in. But now she's bouncing around the Marvel universe asking for help.
Like I think she talked to Rachel, and I believe she talked to Namor.
Yeah, she talked to Namor. She talked to Doctor Strange, and then she had that Generations issue where she met the original Jean Grey. And I'm a lot like you, Riley, like a big X-Men fanatic and his and like his story. And so I'm sitting back. I'm like, that's impossible. Jean Grey would not have been at the beach at that time, right? Because I'm like, that's bullshit. The X-Men just died. The last thing Jean Grey would do is lie at the beach. Whatever. I'll let it slide.
I have to admit I was thinking that as well. Like I was like, this seems a little bit weird, like because of and I sat back and I had to think like, wait a second, what time period is this Jean supposed to be? Because I don't feel like this adds up. But I just was like, you know what, I'm just not gonna think about it. It's just comics. I'm gonna put it at the back of my mind and enjoy the story.
Yeah, the older you get, the more you realize, let's just enjoy the story and forget about all these numbers and years, you know. So, You know what I've really enjoyed, actually? Like, surprisingly, is All New Wolverine.
Oh yeah.
I have no idea why I'm hooked on that book. I read all like I said, I literally caught up on my X-Men stuff, and I read all 19 issues or however many issues, 24, 23 that are out, like within a span of 2 days. 'Cause I was just having so much fun. Like, it's really endearing. I really enjoyed that book.
I think that a big part of what's great about that series, and I may have said this somewhere else before, is that if you've watched Laura grow up as a character, this is like, it's such a good positive step for her, coming from like where she was when she was younger and then growing into being like kind of a hero, and then she's on teams like X-Force where they're kind of just using her as a weapon, and she's finally coming into herself, and she's like, I mean, if you followed before, like back when she first introduced, she wouldn't even talk, and then she started like talking a little bit, and now she's full on like just hugely emotive and extroverted, and she's just a full on hero, and it's a really fun and interesting thing to see for her character.
So Wolverine's my favorite character in comic books. He has been since I was a kid, and I remember looking at this and I was like, you know what, I'm okay with her being Wolverine. It's good. It's got a lot of heart, and I like Gabby, and I like Jonathan, the stupid ass Wolverine that she carries around, like a real Wolverine that she carries around with her. And I'm okay with it. Yes, you're right, absolutely. From NYX, number 3, right, or 4, whatever. Whenever she appeared as a hooker or whatever, like, she has changed so much. And it seemed like at the time it was because different writers that really didn't know what to do with the book. Like, Joe Quesada's representation was a lot different than Chris Claremont's.
Right.
But then she's kind of the writer that's on it. I cannot remember his name. I was trying to look it up. Taylor's his last name.
Yeah, Tom Taylor.
Yes, Tom Taylor. Thank you. It's like he's taken all elements of her previous life and just has made up this character that is more believable than she has been in a long time. Because before, in X-Force, she was just a killing machine, a little mini Wolverine for the most part. So I think that's why I have been enjoying it.
Well, how do you feel about Old Man Logan then? A little less enthusiastic, it seems.
I am, and it was my first taste of Lemire's work in Marvel Comics. Like, I had read like Justice League Dark and things like that, but I wanted to see, because Old Man Logan's one of those characters that's I always was like, what's the point of him existing in the Marvel universe? It makes no sense. But it's actually it was okay when he was on the book. I like the idea of him trying to off everybody off on his list and then realizing, oh, well, I guess this isn't my world I come from, so I best not kill anybody. And then his flashbacks. Oh, I remember having problems with his flashbacks because the time didn't make any sense to me. I was like, he would have been the time that that we know the book took place in Old Man Logan, the original Old Man Logan by Mark Millar. Like, he gave us a time that he tried to go and kill himself, and he told us how long he was up there. And the time that Jeff Lemire did in his ongoing series was a little bit different, like when he met his wife and how long he had his kids. Because in my head, I was doing the math. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. He would have been way too old. But anyway. So yeah, it was okay. I went on way too long about that.
I enjoyed the Lemire series, and it's one that I want to reread, but I think a lot of what I enjoyed was just how great the artwork was.
Oh yeah.
But I think that overall it worked better than the original by Mark Millar.
I agree.
Because Mark Millar's was just kind of hokey, and it was a lot of fun. When I first read it back when it came out, and I was probably like 18 or something, and I was just like, oh, cool, like everything's weird and different and violence and stuff. And then you go back to it and it's like, this is fucking weird, and how does any of this even make sense?
It doesn't.
Why is
beautiful artwork though, right?
Inbred Hulk hillbillies, what?
Yeah.
But an actual book that Steve McNiven did the entire thing, like actually did all the artwork for, that's impressive.
Well, except we had to wait like 6 months for giant size. They were like, we'll just keep going with, Wolverine, and then we'll give you your own little giant size issue.
Yeah, I remember that.
But you're right. That aspect of it, it was a lot more fun because there's more layers to the character here than the one-dimensional character that appears in the original Old Man Logan, because he was a lot more like Clint Eastwood in, I guess, what was El Torino, right? Kind of like an old wash-up Western.
And wasn't the entire story like a play on? Was it Unforgiven?
Oh yeah, totally. I can see that. Him with a buddy going back to doing what they swore they'd never do again, or whatever. Yeah, going cross country. Yeah, I could see that. But the Lemire series gave it a whole new meaning because it wasn't just editorial mandate, like, oh no, we need a Wolverine, do something with this character. I guess they gave it to the right hands. Like, I haven't read the book since somebody else took over.
Ed Brisson.
Okay, and he's the guy that's also taking over. Oh God, Cable.
Yeah, he's on Cable, and he's also on Iron Fist.
Have you read Cable?
I have been reading Cable.
I read the first 4 issues, and my heart just cries out for James Robinson, because James Robinson wrote one of the best comic books ever in the history of comic books, and that is Starman. And then reading Cable, or for that matter, most of his other stuff that since Starman, it's just been kind of heartbreaking. And
I particularly enjoyed his Scarlet Witch.
Okay. And his Fantastic Four wasn't bad, but mainly the things he did just like for the Justice League people had a huge problem.
No, his Fantastic Four was pretty bad. Just kept getting caught up in all the events going on.
Oh yeah, and then Marvel just deciding, we're just we don't own the rights to these characters.
Well, they had that story where Thing, it looks like Thing killed the Puppet Master. And
I forgot about that.
It's the original Sin tie-in, and they never were able to explain like what really took place. How did that really happen? Like, did he really kill the Puppet Master? Was it something else? Like, it never. He was given the Fantastic Four. He was making a pretty cool story about this guy named Nobody who was behind absolutely everything. And then the wars came, and fucking original Sin bullshit and all that stuff just kind of displaces the entire story.
I just can't believe we live in a world where we don't have the world's greatest magazine. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy and almost childish in a way. We don't own the rights to these Marvel, the cinematic characters.
It's very much, no, I was safe. Now I'm going to take my ball and go home and fuck everybody else.
Which is what they were trying to do with X-Men. I mean, that's why X-Men titles have been kind of a mess for a while, but whatever. I guess Marvel knows what they're doing.
Right? Riley?
What's up?
Were they going to kill all the X-Men and replace them with
They were going to kill all of them and replace them with the Inhumans.
Inhumans? I remember that, and then they realized, you know what? The Inhumans aren't that cool.
But the current line of the X-Men books, I'm going to say I've been mostly impressed with. They've picked it up a little bit, and they seem to have kind of directions that they're heading in that are more or less positive for these characters, and it just feels like editorial has ideas for the franchise, and I had positive thoughts about a lot of the previous line with like Extraordinary, but overall it just seemed like mandated things happening one after another, and it kind of became muddled and a little bit of a mess in the end.
Yeah, it's been a while since they've been like the book to read or a part of everybody's pull list. Used to be X-Men was on there at one point.
Mm-hmm. I guess because there are no more, we don't have any titles that are from the original generation, right? There is no Uncanny X-Men. Everything is new. Everything is X-Men Gold and Blue. While that's nostalgic to some of us that were reading comics in the 90s, there were no titles called X-Men Blue or Gold. Like, there's no All New Wolverine, and all these titles are all different.
It's still
so there's no, like, if it... if you were a lot like me, good lord, I collected Uncanny X-Men for over a decade, longer than I probably should have. Like, I just got it because I had I got all these other Uncanny X-Men. I got to keep buying this. But now that you don't have that anymore, right? There's no legacy numbers. There's no Uncanny X-Men title that somebody can go in the store and be like, oh, I'm just buying, all the other Uncanny X-Men issues. Now you really do have brand new issues. Numbering.
It's still a bunch of brand new characters.
Apparently, yeah, but that was always the case with X-Men, though.
Well,
X-Men was one of those always changing the lineup, right? Oh, brand new characters, as in saying.
Yeah, it's all the replacement characters, though. Like Old Man Logan and Jean Grey and Cyclops are all like the younger, different versions that nobody's, attached.
Right, and this is probably going to be a completely different topic because I think this is something we can all talk about. But there was a sense of like there wasn't that kind of thing like in Marvel. Like if you even look back 10 years ago, characters didn't have sidekicks that would one day, like Nightwing, for example. Like when Bruce Wayne died, you knew Dick Grayson would one day grow up to be Nightwing. Like Marvel didn't have that. We had Bucky, and he died, right? Marvel didn't have like a kid Wolverine or kid Spider-Man and things like that.
Right.
It's just in the last few, probably maybe I don't know. Young Avengers is probably one of the titles I remember earliest. One of the earliest titles that I remember, the original Young Avengers, with Jimmy Chung doing the artwork, was one of the titles that introduced a lot of the. Oh, this character could one day maybe become Captain America if something happens to Captain America, something like that. I know he's always had the Falcon, but never like a really sidekick.
Right.
So I think a lot of the problems might be like it's just all pushed in your face at once, and you're sort of to believe that, okay, yeah, this girl that just showed up about 10 years ago is now Wolverine, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it, but I can I guess kind of see why some of the older readers are like, nah, I'm good. I'll just stick to reading all the old stuff.
I mentioned this the other night. I think one of the big issues that they've had is not just in that they were using these replacement characters, but that they did all of them at the same time.
Oh yeah, because they've always replaced characters. That's been a synonymous thing in comics for years. But you never notice because it's been, oh, Captain America has been replaced. That's cool. He's going to come back later. We all know that. Like, Green Lantern's been replaced, or Batman's been replaced. But when it's like every single major character has been all replaced basically at the same time, that's when it becomes noticeable. And a big change for everybody. Like, you could have Thor, be a frog for a couple issues. War Machine take over as Iron Man for a few issues. When it goes on for 3-4 years and it's all at once, it becomes noticeable. It becomes, you have to make that choice of, yeah, I'm going to continue with this or I'm going to stop. And it kind of forces people to stop right now.
Yeah, like I said, like it's almost pushed in your face. Like you're made to believe that this happened. But you're right. It was all at once.
And I mean, it was a little bit at first, like with the death of Wolverine or Captain America, like losing the super serum and stuff like that. What, 2-3 years almost now since Wolverine's been gone, and he hasn't came back yet. So it's just there's no influence.
I'm still shocked that we don't have Jean Grey back. That's crazy. Like and it makes me feel old because Jean Grey has been dead longer this time than when she died in Uncanny X-Men 137. That fucking blows my mind, and it makes me feel so old. And I'm like, oh my god, how did this happen? How has nobody brought Jean back?
Why am I keeping track?
Ah, man.
Yeah, but that's it. I mean, it's and also like you guys talked about it before on last week's Omnibros about like the lenticular covers and how that's really not helping. It's just no one's talking about the story anymore. All the news and all the chit chat that you hear is just about variant covers. It's nothing about the inside of the material or the source. It's all about the little gimmicky stuff going on. And that's one thing that DC realized was going on with them at first, and that's why they stopped doing so many variant covers and stuff like that. They didn't want people to talk about covers. they want people to talk about the actual stories that their creators are working on and putting their hard work and effort into. And that's what we're missing, you know, whatever.
We really are.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I find myself enjoying more DC books lately, with the whole, especially with the whole Rebirth line, because you have that sense of legacy there, and it's kind of come back.
And the story's been like actual, like not eventful stories, but like meaningful stories. Like,
yeah, and I don't know yet how I feel about the whole Watchmen coming in, like taking place into the, like, you know, because I feel Watchmen is one of those stories that should have been left alone. One of these old purists like that, but I don't know. It could work well. It seems to be working really great right now.
Well, yeah, but there you are. We're talking about the actual story that's happening, and not like, oh, did you see that the particular covers for the button issue? You know, no, there's actually like stuff that's going on in the book. You know,
because they're good. They're really good stories.
Exactly, and it's leading somewhere, and it's Rebirth was what, almost, you know, a year and a half ago, and it's still, they haven't canceled a single title yet. Like they did in New 52, they canceled titles like
right left and right. New 52,
you know. And I'm interested in everything going on in Batman right now, especially with like the, you know, the Bane storyline and like the Joker Riddler stories, and will she or won't she, or with the marriage proposal and all that kind of stuff.
Guess we're gonna have to wait a few more months for that.
There's something that's kind of sticking there. That's what I remember about comics when I first started reading comics. Is you had a storyline, and then you had like a subplot that kind of kept going past the main storyline. There's so many hooks that kind of kept you going, and I'm not experiencing that much anymore.
I feel like honestly, that's probably the more of the editor's job, though, to keep everybody on the same page. While you have, I mean, you think about like 9 different X titles, that can get out of hand if everybody's doing their own story. But if you have one, you know, one direction that everybody's going, then no matter what stories everybody's telling, they're all heading the same path. And it's been kind of a mess, like Riley said. I remember Extraordinary X-Men felt like a different book than a lot of the other books that were being published at the time, like Uncanny X-Men. It didn't feel like it was in the same universe in a way. At least now, because characters are showing up in different issues, it feels more like this might actually go somewhere.
It's a little more cohesive.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a plan for a lot of these characters that it didn't exactly seem like there was a plan before.
And it's not so mixed in with the Avengers characters anymore. It's not Avengers and X-Men teams anymore. All right, so I don't know. What do we got next? Is this gonna be it? Are we set, guys? Am I still on?
You are.
I don't know. We covered y'all's main topic that I kind of jumped in on.
No, that was good. That was awesome.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
And then went on a long tangent about stuff.
You and Omar bonded over the X-Men.
Always happy to bond over X-Men.
Oh man, that was my childhood. X-Men. So it's good to see some of that stuff back, but every once in a while I do miss Young Man Logan.
Yeah, I'm hoping. If I was to say I had hopes for what's to come, I do. It's really dumb, but there is something in a name. I do hope that they bring back Uncanny.
It's not dumb. Not dumb at all. I get it. Yeah, me too.
Like on the surface, it's like it's a dumb thing because why should it matter? But it totally does. Because like you were saying, there was all those people like yourself who you collected the series for years, and at this point you're like, okay, well, you know, there's no continuing on that long-running collection of Uncanny X-Men comics that you already have. There hasn't been an Uncanny X-Men title at this point for about a year, and the previous one was short and pretty much unlike Uncanny X-Men ever was. It was more like an X-Force title. So
yeah, that's the one with Sabretooth, Greg Land.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, even books like Kyle Yost's X-Force and stuff like that. I wish we had stuff like that around. Something that was just, you know, a different kind of variation of things, but was still attached to the rest of the universe.
I miss those guys. Yost and there's a lot of writers, creators I miss that I'm sure have moved on to better things. That are not even thinking about the comic book world, or the people that read their old stuff. But definitely, some of these books definitely didn't need some kind of new direction or somebody in charge. If only they had editors and editors in chief, that could help.
Legacy was going to be that, but all Legacy is doing is just number legacy. It's not character legacy or story legacy or title legacy.
Yeah, I don't even understand the point of Legacy. At least the ones I've read so far. I haven't read that many. Yeah, is there an overall mastermind that's bringing these characters together? I really don't know.
Those Generations one shots.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm a little bit behind. I need to read like the last couple of them, but from what I read, I don't know. Like, this was a rumor that I read. There was supposed to be like something happening with Secret Empire that brought like the original back, I guess through the use of the Cosmic Cube. That was going to have them like come back and kind of interact with the new versions of themselves, and then the new one or the original ones might just stay. I don't remember what it was that I read, but like I said, it was a rumor accompanied with a lot of other rumors that could or could not be true.
I haven't finished Secret Empire yet, so that could very well be true.
I've got 2 issues left to read, but I don't think any of that actually happened. There was some Cosmic Cube fuckery going on, though.
Well, that's what it seemed like. If they started doing the Generations and then Legacy, you know,
Legacy is going to reintroduce some of those numbers, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's for most long-running titles, they're returning to their original numbering. The only group that hasn't really been touched at all was the X-Men group, aside from Deadpool.
Oh, Deadpool's going back to
he's going like 200-something issues, I think.
Okay, that makes sense. If they could charge $8 for a book, I'm sure they'll make it $250.
Mm-hmm.
Number, it's like Venom's at like 150. Like, that doesn't make sense. The Thor renumbering doesn't make sense because they're including all the journey and the mystery from before Thor's first appearance and things like that too.
They're just trying to fudge the numbers so they can get to the like anniversary issues when they want to.
It's the same shit they've done before. I mean, there were a few issues off with Amazing Spider-Man, I think. Somebody, like a fan had to correct it before they went back to 600. And they were like, oh, yeah, we overlooked that. Whoops.
I think for the Incredible Hulk, the numbering that they did to get to 600 is different than the numbering they had to do to get to whatever the new number is. Like, they're not counting something now that they were counting before. So welcome to Marvel Comics, where the numbers don't mean shit.
Marvel math.
I just want good stories again. I could give a shit about the numbers.
No, that's true. That's always true. All right, so if you guys are, I'm ready to call this an episode, man. This has been great.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Good. All right, so let's do our normal kind of outtake or outro. Riley, since you're our special guest, you go first, bro. Where can they find you on the internet?
Oh, sure. Thanks for letting me crash real quick, guys. But y'all can find me on, I guess, on this channel, and I'm gonna try and get back on my channel, especially more now that since Luis is going on a sabbatical. I want to try and fill the void and make some videos of my own again. So my channel being Ryleymo, or you can just look up Omnibus Collector. Of course, our Facebook group, Omnibus Collector, Comic Swap, and all that good stuff. So check that out, and then you can see my website, the Omnibus Collectors, theomnibuscollector.com.
Cool. And going across my screen, Matt, where can everybody find you at, bud?
Basically, I'm on the Facebook groups or the Den or any of the other subgroups, so I'm usually always lurking around there or popping up on the occasional Omnibros channel from time to time.
Cool. And Omar, what's up, bud? Where's everybody going to find you at these days?
So first of all, thanks for having me, man. This was a lot of fun. I think I've talked all I needed to today. I don't think I can use the rest of my words for my wife or my kids. So everybody can find me on my YouTube channel. It's called Near Mint Condition. And we have a weekly show I think we try to publish every Wednesday or Thursday.
Cool. Yeah, man, I love your show. I love everybody in there. You got such a mix of different, it's not just comics, it's video games and manga and toys and fun stuff.
Yeah, we all come from different backgrounds. Like Rob used to write video game articles, and then Dan used to write like toy magazine articles and things like that. So it's really fun.
Cool. And everybody else, you can find me on YouTube, Gabe Infinity Watch. I'm also on Instagram at Gabe Infinity Watch. I should have, right after this, I'm going to do my August haul video. So that should be going up later today, too. So all of our links, or mine and Riley's links, are in the show notes. So go ahead and check it out from there. But besides that, I wish everybody in the chat a great day, and lots of thanks for showing up and hanging out with this crazy new show. And I hope to see everybody next week. All right, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye, guys.